was ignoring it. I don't understand. Running late. Watching the news, getting my daily dose. Daily dose of, what is that? Crosstalk? Big crosstalk this morning. Break up Google. Talk about the bullies today. I want to talk about bullies. I want to talk about monopolies, breaking them up. Running late. Yes, I am running late. Sorry, y'all, I'm in slavery. Gotta run late. I was tired, man. Oh, you know, I didn't share it. Hold on, I gotta share. I was building a waterfall last night. All right, I'm in slavery world, y'all. You gotta work hard. I ain't playing. I was building a waterfall, so I didn't get to bed on time. So I'm tired this morning. We like to break up the bullies that we don't like. We don't do so good breaking up them bullies and monopolies that we like, the ones we're indoctrinated to, the ones we make excuses to not break up. A couple bullies I want to mention this morning. Let me share. How y'all doing? How's everybody doing? I see Harsh's live. Goodness gracious. Do me a favor. Don't go to Harsh's feed and say that I'm live. Don't do that. I hate it when people do that. Why do y'all do that? If somebody is already watching something, let them watch. You don't need to go, oh, come on, somebody else is live. No. Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't like when people do that. It's weird. It's just weird. I don't know. Supporting somebody in that moment, support that person. You're watching Harsh, stay over there with Harsh. You don't need to watch me. You know me. I talk the same yo every day. I'm the hippie side. Just love people. Love people. Be a good person. Don't kill people. Don't kill people. We don't get to make it. Do what Jesus said, which is actually the complete opposite of what the U.S. federal government always does. But in money we trust. Oh, right on the money. Right on the money. You talk about monopolies. Ooh, Federal Reserve. That's a monopoly. We're gonna break that up. They're gonna break up. They're having issues with somebody cheating. I'm gonna share this. I was gonna say, stop running my mouth. It does not get to make it with monopolies. I hope people understand that. Does everyone get that by now? Can we end this whole survival of the fittest nonsense? Can we end this whole compete to solve problems nonsense? There's never a fair fight. Never, and there never will be, ever. But you always need to fight for equality. Push for equality. Equality is a good thing. Equality is a great thing. All right, let me bring a YouTube comment saying, good morning. Wow, y'all coming in. Boy, let me see. You couldn't hear Harsh, Megs? Yeah, that's Harsh. Oh, poor Harsh. I love him to death. He had a good live with Dee Dee yesterday. Ooh, and I kind of want to touch on something Dee Dee talks about all the time, too. The genocide of the Native American or Native Canadians. That's real. That finally hit the news, too. I can't believe that. I don't know. What's happening? Is this progress? We actually talking about abuse of women? What the hell is going on? All right, let me see. Be the upgrade. Always be the upgrade. Be the upgrade of the Christians. Be the upgrade of the Muslims. Be the upgrade of the modern Jews. Be the upgrade. Move forward. Be the upgrade of the atheist. Be the upgrade of the vegan. Don't be the ignorant bastard that was handed to you. Use the current information of the day to solve the problems. All right, we're good to go. We're shared out. Yo, Patricia Hauser is on. Be careful with that border, girl. You heading to that border? Be careful with that Mexico border. That's in the news too. We gotta be careful down there. Well, actually, I kind of like that news. I like that news. I don't like keeping people out of their country, or I don't like keeping people out of my country, which is their land, and it's not my country to begin with. It's migrating here for thousands of years. Actually, you know what? Migrating here for millions of years. Millions of years. Because North America, they're saying, is the first civilization. They're saying North America was here first. And then the Younger Dryas occurred, blew everything up. A whole lot of theories go back to the Egyptian things they found in the Grand Canyon. I was watching Brother Mott yesterday. I don't know, something like that. I was watching yesterday. I posted a video. He was talking about how Nikola Tesla, he hit me with something. Kind of made me feel kind of funny. A little funny on the inside. He said, what if Nikola Tesla, he didn't say what if, he just said, debate Mike. He got that accent. I don't know. I thought he was in the UK. He's not. Apparently he's in like Boston or something. But some weird accents up there anyway. Yeah, I'm on too much coffee today. He had a theory. He said, what if Nikola Tesla Einstein and some of these greats weren't as smart as we thought they were? What if they were reverse engineering? What if they were given things and they were reverse engineering? Because I don't know if there's any evidence behind that, but I will say that if you're doing things that people can't do for centuries later or a century later, you figure out things that just nobody, possibly a billion people that came before you couldn't figure out. Magically, you figure it out, and 500 million people after you still can't figure it out. Maybe they were working for the government. Maybe. I mean, we do that now. We reverse engineer Russian jets. They reverse engineer ours. That's why they don't like the S-400. Speaking of monopolies, why? Because the S-400s do something. It peers into the Rothschild technology with a temporary United States Air Force label on it. And it tells them how those jets work. Secrets. But anyway, thou shalt not cheer bullies. Let me get everybody should be here. Let me get the music going. And we shall get into the fray. Good morning. What are the monopolies? I have a theory. I have some thoughts. Because they don't talk crosstalk this morning. Listen to the brothers go back and forth. They were talking about breaking up Google. Should we break up Google? Should we break up Facebook? And by far, my answer is yes. Absolutely, positively, 100,000, 200% yes. But we need to break them up from a human perspective and for human reasons, right? They are monopolies. They own every damn thing, but you can't break them up the same way they broke up. What was that? U.S. Oil, Rockefellers. It's like, yeah, y'all can break us up. Go on, break us up. Go on, break us up. And the owners keep the shares in all the companies that you break up, and they buy the laws, and they still maintain the monopoly in different companies. And that's all they'll do with Google and Facebook, because when they do this stuff and you let the government do it, it's always just a gesture. The government is in bed with them. That's why it's called an oligarchy. Maximizing efficiency. So here's my thought. You know, the alligator, atypical predator. Facebook, Google, they learn how to thrive and went beyond thriving. They learn how to do, they gained evolutionary advantages nothing else could. And they proceeded to murder everything they could. Murder every small company, bought them up, shut them down, buy their patent, shut it down, use what you could, throw it out. But at a certain point in time, and I'm okay with competition. I'm okay with competition for positive things. I'm okay with competition moving us forward. I'm not okay with competition when you think about the final status of an atypical predator that owns a population, a Rothschild, a Rockefeller, a Google, a Facebook, a Ma Bell, something that owns every damn thing. There's no possible way to compete. They say, no, that's just. And again, like I said, I believe in free market capitalism, don't get me wrong, but at a certain point in time, it's not about money, and it's not about capitalism, and it's not about making money working together, because you never had free market capitalism, you never will have it. You always have cronyism. And if you have an atypical predator that owns every damn thing, they got teeth and fangs and nothing can compete against them, you know what they do? They get lazy. Why? Because they maximize efficiency. They don't have to struggle. They don't have to create any more innovations moving us forward. They get lazy. They sit back and they buy the government. Why would you buy the government? You buy the law so nothing can compete. Why in the world would they keep innovating new vicious weapons to fight other predators for the prey, or fight the prey that's learning to run fast and defend itself? They give up. They become lazy. They become fat. Of course, they tell you that you're lazy. They tell you to work harder. You're not getting what you want out of the world. Work harder. You'll get it. Lie. Always a lie. They maximize efficiencies like we do, right? That's just called, it's not lazy, it's productivity. And they stop innovating, and all they do is just thrive on the profit. So hell yeah, you break up all bullies. You break them all up. It's one thing if the bullies are competing against each other, it's competition. It's another thing if you're just like a piece of chicken. and this is like the Federal Reserve is like holding you out, and your government's holding you out for corporations to eat you. Vaccines, you don't have a choice, and they hold it out to eat you. Mass incarceration, you don't have it, they hold you out to eat you. Big pharmaceutical, you ain't got no choice, they hold you out. Does this make sense to anybody? Am I on too much coffee? Monopolies, bullies, whenever they learn to monopolize on their prey, they have a monopoly, they develop efficiencies, and the future is greed will end the entire ecosystem. In our case, if you don't know what that is, that's called the planet. Bullies should never exist. Why do we have so many people cheering bullies? I don't understand. I don't understand. Why would you cheer bullies? Why would you cheer monopolies? Why? Oh, you know what I want to go to? Speaking of bullies, it's funny when you start talking about breaking up monopolies and everybody's like, "My bell, break up monopolies." What are some of the other popular monopolies? I mean, the obvious monopolies, I don't think is a discussion. Facebooks and Googles and all that stuff. You can't let the government break them up. You have to let people break them up. You have to let board panel, people who have no vested interest in lying to you and doing a corrupt breakup, which is what they always do. You need people to break it up. You break up, see, because you got the deep state all in Google, and that was part of the debate, right? You break them up. You know, you're trying to break them up because of all the censorship and control and information, but you need people in the IT community who aren't in government to make sure that all that deep state, NSA, FBI, MI6, all of that spent snot crap that they put in all of this, that they don't like Huawei. They want you to use it so they can watch you, know what size drawers you wear, where you're going, cheating on your husband and wife, whatever you're doing, so they can bribe you when you run for government. Cheating on your taxes, whatever you're doing. You got to make sure that independent panels break these corporations up and make sure those hooks are no longer in there. The ownership shouldn't go to the owners. Like, they shouldn't have any stock in the new company. You know, we are humans. We are humans. We are not systems. We are not cogs of profit. The basis has to be humanity, or we're jacked up. The basis can't be the nation. It can't be your race or your religion. The basis has to be humanity. And if you have an atypical predator that's thriving, it's a monopoly, and it's murdering all of us, going to murder the next generation, you got to break it up. Got to break it up. Besides the fact, it's not theirs anyway. What does Google actually own? I know I'm going to get knocked off of YouTube. I mean, they're going to knock it up. If the AI is watching me right now, because they don't have time to watch me. They hear me talk about breaking up monopolies, they just knock it off. But what do they actually own? What do they do? Oh, they wrote software. Oh yeah, what does that run on? Servers. Did they invent the servers? Did they invent the servos? Did they invent the capacitors? Did they invent the circuit boards? Did they invent the CPU? Nope. Okay, but they wrote the software. Oh yeah? What did they write in? C++? Did they invent C++? Did they invent COBOL, Pascal? What did they write it in? Did they invent binary code? Did they invent that? Did they invent any of it? No. They stood on the backs of other people, your people, related to you, your ancestors, made all of this crap. But they got the patents for it, so you feel that they have a right to have a corporation that's destroying the planet and murdering people and making profit, thriving on a debt-based system. You say, well, they're just good at what they do. No, they're not good at what they do. They're great criminals, and they buy laws. It's called cronyism. You become too good at what you're doing, great. Now it's time to break you up. Why? Because even they are human. You need to help them. Sometimes you got to intercede on a psychopath. Sometimes you got to intercede and help them. Help them helping us. But this is not a fair fight, and there never is a fair fight. All right, now let's talk about one monopoly that you're not going to like, because most people agree with that. Most of my capitalistic friends will go along with that until we talk about the monopolies on violence. Oh, I want to show you something. I got to show you something. Monopolies on violence. Proud ones. You know, because like I said, we always like to break up the monopolies that the bullies that aren't robbing people giving us stuff. Some of y'all might know where I'm going with this. So let me see if I can find a good picture of a bully. What is a bully? Anybody got any bullies out there? Any bullies in your community? Beating up people, beating up old people, stealing what they have, taking it home, giving it to their cousins. You don't want to break them up. Let's see if we can find some bullies over here before I show you the news. Hold on. Bullies in the news, breaking up monopolies. Should we break up all the monopolies or just break up the unpopular monopolies? There you go. See, here's a good example. This is Biff. Y'all remember Biff? This is a good example right there. Biff. Biff and his cronies got his friends. All his friends around. They got 3D glasses. Y'all remember young people, those are called 3D glasses. What they do is before y'all had real 3D, we had fake D, we had fake color D. Yeah, red eye, blue eye. You come out the movie, you couldn't see anything, just cross-eyed, walking everywhere. But anyway, he's the crony. See, he doesn't want to break up the monopoly. All he wants, y'all need the buddies. The buddies go along with Biff because Biff is beating up people and stealing what they got, and they get to ride the hoverboard and do different things. I barely remember the movies. And so it comes down to nationalism. Ooh. I want to break up that bully. Who are the bullies in the world? Any corporations, any owning nations going around the world beating up people, stealing what they got? Y'all. All right, let me show this to you. Yeah, oh, it's one. There's a monopoly that needs to get broke up. But besides the fact, before it triggers your national indoctrinated slave mind idolatry, before it triggers you, keep in mind, America is not a country. Never has been, never will be. America is a republic, and it's made of 50 countries. 50. They don't like you thinking like that. They don't like you talking like that. You shouldn't be running around with an American flag. Think about it. Maybe you should be running around with a Maryland flag. Your real country. Maybe you should be running around with an Alabama flag. Damn it, the Texans seem to get it. Texans, they were never part of your country. They didn't give a damn about you. Texas, like, we got our guns, our tanks, and most of the military bases are in our state. We're really not a part of you. They've been trying to break away for a long time. But let's talk about the monopoly, because what's popular right now, what they were talking about is these S-400s, right? These S-400s that everybody wants. Everybody wants these Russian-made S-400s. I like them. I think everybody should have them. Once again, I'm a horrible, bad, terrible American. Why? Because that's what Jesus told me to be. That's why. I don't believe you in God we trust. You can put that on the money all you want. You can put the faces of Jesus. You can get the long hair and whatever you want. Whatever picture of Jesus you want. Get the black people in control of America. They put the black Jesus. You can do whatever you want on your money. I understand who you are. I know exactly who you are. Uh-oh. Is that Brother Daniel? Speaking of Jesus. All right, let me start. I'm not even going to get started. Let me get started. I want to show you something. Because I think everybody should have these S-400s, but why does everybody?
Turkey, that within the next 10 years is going to be the world's 5th largest economy. Did you know that? Within the next 10 years, Turkey is slated to be the 5th largest economy in the world. Well, they're telling the United States, sorry, but we've decided to go with Russia's S-400. And, you know, obviously the United States does not want Turkey to do that. The United States did not want China to do that, but they did. India to do that, but they did. Iran wants it, but so far Russia hasn't done that deal. So as we reported last night, the S-400 is turning out to be one of the most sought-after weapon systems in the world because it's faster, has more range over the U.S. missiles, and is also apparently a whole lot cheaper. Joining us now, former Naval Intelligence Officer John Jordan. And by the way, since you're still here, Michelle, China purchased the S-400. Weren't they one of the first?
Right. It was the first country to import the S-400, but the PLA, let's remember, has been using the S-300 for over a decade now. So it was easier for them to pick up the S-400 than, you know, for example, Turkey or India.
So it was just kind of a transition.
Right. It was, the S-400 was delivered to China last year, and it was successfully tested, but it's not like this is a new relationship between China and Russia.
So John Jordan joins us now to talk about the S-400. We've been talking about this for over the last...
Before he tells you why, he'll tell you why. I'm gonna tell you my perspective. Everybody wants a defensive system. If you're not familiar with the S-400, it's an aerial defensive system. If you have an S-400, you will not be invaded by bullies. Because, in fact, the bullies won't even fly at your border. He'll tell you why. But why does everybody want the S-400, not the Patriot? Not only does the Patriot kind of suck, but that's not the point. The point is that everybody understands that those Patriot systems can be shut off by the bullies if the bullies made the S. If they made the system, they can shut off the system. If they made the system, they can watch the system. So everybody wants the whole Russia different tech and merge it, and America doesn't like that. Why did America like that? Because they think they still run their country. They don't realize that Rothschilds and Rockefellers and the elite run all of this crap. But I believe in defense. Countries want to be defended. People want to be defended. Why do they want to be defended? Well, because women don't like being raped. They like defense. Kids don't like being murdered. They like to feel safe. They want to play soccer without worrying about drones dropping bombs on them. People like to feel safe. See, But the thing is, you like America. You're in America. You've been taught to say the Pledge of Allegiance and fly the flag. You've been taught that your government supports your troops. You've been taught that the politicians that are sending these kids to die for oil companies support them, and they come home and don't do a damn thing for them. You believe that crap. And you're not even an American. You're an Alabamian. You're a Washingtonian. You're an Oregonian. But you believe this whole Rothschild Federal Reserve America-ish thing. Because it's not a government, it's a corporation. It owns you. You are a commodity to it. You consented to it and it owns you. It's not even a government. The US federal government was dissolved a long time ago. All right, let's keep going. Why does everybody want the S-400? Outside the fact that people like to breathe air, eat food, live a life, and not worried about bullies coming in to rob them and steal what they got to go share with the people who are apathetic at home, doing everything that this Christ, in God we trust money, told them not to.
48 hours, and we're struck with the demand for this thing. Can you explain this to us?
Well, the S-400 may be the most successful Russian system devised since the T-34 tank in World War II, and here's why. It is a system which is area denial, and it's political as well as it is military. For example, it not only has great range and is able to defend a large area, including low-level flying vehicles like cruise missiles, it has an even more important capability, and that is it is able to observe fifth-generation fighters like the F-22 and F-35 and collect data on them. Which data then can be used or sold or conveyed to another party. So just having this system there, and it's not just missiles, it's a collection of radars and computers and operators. So
okay, let me translate. Layman's terms, people not getting this. Aerial denial, what does that mean? Well, actually, aerial denial, it means you can't even come in the area. Literally. It's a literal chastity belt. Just think of it this way. It's a chastity belt. It's like taking your nation and strapping on a chastity belt. Y'all know what chastity belts are? And putting a lock on it. It means your penis-shaped missiles can't even come in the country. Quite literally. Can't even fly around it. It's a chastity belt with Wi-Fi and a cell phone on it that it reports on all the airplanes flying around. It reports on all the rapists coming around, flying their penises around, getting ready to shove their penises in your country. That's why they don't like it. It's a damn chastity belt that tells on tattletailing chastity belt. That's what it is. If you think about it right, well, people are like, what the hell is he talking about? Why does rape exist? Rape is a violation. It's an abuser. It's a bully who thinks they have the right to shove things in you the same way they shove missiles into nations. That's why I'm saying never back the bully, never support a bully, because this system actually will report on anybody thinking about raping in your country or blowing up your country, which brings about pedophilia, sex trafficking. Our connections are there. Just look it up. That's what. But it is. It's a chastity belt with a tattletale feature that actually tells on people who are thinking about it. You flying your M35, F-35, Raptors, whatever around, thinking about destroying the country. It reports data on those airplanes, and they don't like that. So everybody wants that. Why? Because they don't trust your corporation pretending to be a nation. You do. Why? Because you were raised to. You were raised to, again, the flag and the Pledge of Allegiance. You think that that's real, when really that's just a family crest for the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, and that's why they don't ever do what you want. I was, oh hey Steve, that's Steve. I was watching the brother the other day. What's the brother's name? Brother Sean. You know, he was kind of giving his perspective. Brother Steve was over there. He was talking about Bernie and how's our last chance and everything, and I was just, I was behaving. If you were there, Steve was there. I was behaving. I didn't troll. I think everybody should do their solution. Whatever your solution is, I think you should run at it. But you should utilize critical thought, engage in dialogue and discourse if what you're doing is actually going to change anything. Getting another employee called president in the United States corporation, murderers and rapers and killers and genociders of the planet, to me, ain't gonna change a damn thing. It ain't gonna change a damn thing. And these countries know that. That's why they're getting the S-400. They know that your Bernie ain't gonna help. They know it doesn't matter if it's Trump, Obama, whatever. They know that you actually don't have a government. They get it. And so they want to make sure that they have the ability when this corporation turns on them, that they can defend themselves. They want to make sure they're already preparing worldwide, because this is what you do. When you want to take on the bully in the block, do you say it out loud? No, you don't. You start making alliances behind the border. And somebody just posted a minute ago how they don't feel safe in America, and you should not. Why would you feel safe in America being run by a corporation? Greed is the bottom line. Greed and money is the bottom line. Not who's president, not Democrats, not Republicans. Greed, money, and power. That's how oligarchy works, pretending to be a government. One massive corporation determining the greed. The minute it makes sense for the greed and the oil to destroy Turkey, Turkey's destroyed. The minute it makes sense for greed to come in your house and take your children, they'll do that. The minute that greed determines it needs to roll out 5G to control you, that's precisely what will happen. All right, get back to it. S-400, chastity belt, Wi-Fi, a little tell on your features so America can't rape another country.
So it's able to collect this data, so a lot of operators of fifth-generation fighters like the U.S., Israel, and others are loath to operate in airspace occupied by an S-400 because they don't want to compromise a lot of the stealth technology as well as the data link technology called Link 16. They don't want that compromised. So without ever having to fire a shot, Russia has fielded a system which has impacted the battlefields over Syria, and now it may effectively kick the U.S. Air Force out of Incirlik in Turkey.
Translation, layman's terms. America sneaking through a bush, late at night, planning on raping a country. Planning on raping somebody. They got on a dark mask, trying to hide. Nobody knows who they are. This chastity belt will tell them that that's America. America can't sneak and hide and go rape somebody. This is making sense if you really think about it, because it identifies them. It breaks through their stealth technology and it tells them the speed of the jets, how they work, their response times, everything. Things that I don't even know. It's top secret. But it identifies America hiding in the bushes, getting ready to rob and murder somebody and rape them. Not in that
because
order.
The U.S. Air Force won't be comfortable having F-35s operate in such close proximity to S-400 systems where that data can be collected.
So it's not only its reach of its missiles, but its intel capabilities from a radar standpoint and beyond are so vast that it keeps countries from deploying their weapons system. Let me ask you a question. Is there any evidence of any country today involved in some kind of conflagration that has failed to do something because of its respect for the S-400?
Yes, I would suggest right now it would be, it constrains Western action over Syria. And again, it's not just concern over the missiles or the interceptors themselves. It's the system's ability to compromise aspects of stealth technology like waveform and data link, Link 16, as well as the identification friend and foe system. So it is its ability to gather intelligence which could potentially degrade the effectiveness of fifth-generation fighters in subsequent conflicts, even with other parties.
When you say Western countries, are you referring to Israel?
I'm referring to operators of U.S.-made fifth-generation systems. I mean, specifically the F-35, and that could mean Israel.
Wow.
Which is also, I suspect, why Russia refused to sell it to Iran.
Gathering capabilities that Russia's S-400 does?
No, it doesn't. It also doesn't have, it's not as effective in defending as large a circle from a ballistic missile. The S-400 has a ballistic point defense capability of roughly 60 kilometers, where THAAD and Patriot are in the 30-kilometer range. So it's the S-400's ability to deal with low-flying targets.
All right, S-400 can get it up. THAAD can't get it up. The Patriot missile is not there. And this is not a Russia versus American technology. It's not that. It was very already clarified that Russia would not be selling the S-400s. Not at this moment, because Putin said it, and I guess the other ministers backed down. So you really know who's running things. There's no America fighting Russia nonsense. Big people who own everything, they make these decisions. But the fact that the Russians aren't selling the S-400 to Iran is because of Israel. Because Israel picked up the phone and said, Russia? Hello, this is Russia, hello. Hello. And that, I do Russian accent. Yeah, you're not going to sell those things. We're not selling the S-400s. No, you're not selling them. This is Israel. Oh, okay. Well, can I sell some of them? No, it won't. In fact, if you go to your phone and your red phone in your office right now, it's going to ring. Picks up the other. Hello, Russia. Here's a Rothschild. Yeah, we're going to take everything that you have. We are going to destroy your central banks and we will invade you because we own America, we own the UK, we own Germany, we own most of Europe, and we own their military. They're the people just dumb as a bag of bricks. They have no idea how the world actually works. We literally print their money. They got no damn idea what's going on. So Russia, you need to listen to Israel. Okay, got it. I know I'm having too much fun on this, but this is how the world really works. And I try to explain it to people. When you see these dots lining up, you're supposed to connect them. Like, you remember when we were kids and you had to connect the dots, like, you go through the book. I was pretty good at that. I was good. I'd get that my little pen, crayon. Just pretend at 62 that you are as powerfully intelligent as when you were 6. And just start connecting the dots. And that'll actually show you how the world works. The world does not work how you see on television. It works how you see right here. This is actually how the world works.
Targets, as well as ballistic inbounds, which is, high altitude, high velocity weapons, and to defend a larger area, as well as gathering that intelligence.
And John, you have obviously some very good sources when it comes to military hardware and this type of thing. And what we're hearing you say tonight is that the power, the value of the S-400 goes beyond just what we've been talking about, which is reach and mobility, et cetera, but actually its ability to scope out and find out vast areas of what other countries may be doing if they're flying a plane or a jet in their space. Did I get that right?
Correct. Yeah. That is absolutely right, especially if it's operated by competent, especially by the manufacturer. In this case, Russians, they're able.
I'm done. I don't want to hear no more. It's just an example, right? It's just an example. Stay focused on this. If you're the piece of chicken, Steve, most people are just dumb as a brick. Or don't give a F. Yeah, and that's right, Steve. Well, most people are with Biff, right? Most people are behind Biff. And like, they'll protect us, right? Because they're cowards and they have these nations and flags and things, and they got to group up with other people because they can't be independent. They got to have labels and all these things to make their life have some meaning. They need friends and groups. They can't be independent thinkers. They don't have critical thought. And that's okay if that's who you are. I mean, you got to do you. I'm doing me. I have an independent mind. I think for myself. I don't give a damn about any of your labels. You're not labeling with anything because you don't know me. People give you labels, they think they know you. You actually don't know me. But I know this. We are the chicken. This is a crocodile. This is not a fair fight. We ain't gonna win. It just ain't gonna happen. Bernie is the chicken. Trump is the chicken. Obama's the chicken. All these people you want to get to fight them, that's the chicken. Britain, the British government, that's the chicken right there. The U.S. government, that's the chicken right there. This is the Rothschild. Somebody always reports to someone. Someone is always pulling the strings and running things. That's how the world works. It will never work the way you see on mainstream media. Why? Because that's a monopoly. That's a bully too. They are bullying you psychologically and intellectually. They show you only what they want you to see, which usually fulfills your indoctrination to get you to think this is how the world works, why they run everything. Keep in mind The Wizard of Oz. That was a documentary. It was not a fictional story. There's always someone behind the curtain, and they're always running things. Don't believe everything you see. Don't believe everything you hear. I'm gonna do comments, and we're gonna roll. Oh, I'm gonna show you one more thing. One more thing. Another side effect of bullies. Did y'all see this? Let me show you this. Another side effect of supporting bullies. Hating their bullies, loving your bully, because your bully's robbing old people, killing children, genociding, and bringing you home shiny gifts. 98% monkey. Look at this right here. This kind of bothered me a little bit. This is a 74-year-old hiker. They were saving. They were trying to get him out. And got him on a body. 74 years old. Look at that. Yes, he's in that bag right there. 74 years old. And they're saving him. Saving. Yes. Oh, it's not spinning fast yet. You keep watching. 74. At 45, right now, I'd be passing out, vomiting, dookie on myself, peeing. I lose all body control. Look at this right here. Look at this. 74 years old. And they say, what does this got to do with bullies? What does this got to do? Because the bullies are spending everything on war. right? Why is a helicopter going to save this man? This man is just about to die. Why? Because they didn't send a drone. They sent a helicopter. Why? Because all the high tech is used to go murder people and drop bombs on their houses and their weddings. It's not used to help save people out of canyons about to die. High technology in America is not used for America. It's used for war. Why? Because you don't own your federal government. They don't give a damn about you. Somebody said, I don't feel safe. You shouldn't feel safe. These people aren't here for you. And that's just another example of monopoly. When they have a monopoly on everything, they don't have to listen to you. They don't have to listen to your Bernie. They don't have to listen to your Trump. They don't care. Did y'all see the protest, by the way? Bro, Trump, where you go? Trump's up. Turn that off. Ah, that's loud. Y'all see the protest? Trump went to the UK and they all is yelling and screaming, acting a fool. People in the UK, I done lost respect for y'all. I'm sorry, I have lost respect. Y'all acting dumb as the Americans now. The world does not work how you want it to. It damn sure doesn't work how the Americans. The Americans got y'all all scared of Trump and y'all think he's calling the shots. Trump is not a crocodile. Trump is right here. He's a piece of chicken. He's a piece of chicken on the end of that stick. Presidents don't make any decisions. All right, let me go there and look at some comments. See if I'm drinking too much coffee or y'all agree with me. Again, this is how this works. It's a commentary thing. This is how my brain works. I think it's a bad idea to support bullies because they always become monopolies if they have a evolutionary, technological, or greed, corrupt-based advantage. They fill their belly, they get lazy, and they decide we're going to buy some legislation because I don't want to keep innovating. I don't want to fight mid-sized corporations. It's never a fair fight. They do everything they can to guarantee and make sure nothing will ever compete with them ever again, so they don't have to innovate. And making innovations and moving forward is just a waste of productivity if you're already at the top, and you can stop the competition by buying politicians and becoming a corporatocracy, then oligarchy. All of the monopolies should be broken up. All of them. Every last one of them. All of them. Top down. All right. If I'm talking about system integration, well, yeah, and that's the other thing too, right? Because what, the S-400s, because you want a monopoly, and so why do they roll out these weapon systems and they're all integrated into their thing? Because they want a monopoly on it, right? And they want to control the allies too. If anybody actually thinks that you're going to buy American weapons and America can't press a button when the Rothschilds call and turn off your defensive systems because it makes sense to topple Britain at that time, it makes sense to topple Turkey at that time, it makes sense to go inside in the back door the NSA made to pull data just because destabilizing your country is in the benefit of this corporation that wants your minerals, you are a fool. Understand, everything is done on greed. It's all run by these big families. That's what monopolies do. It's what they're required to do. Is what you do. You have evolutionary advantage. You have a monopoly in some ways too. In some ways, people are monopolies. They get in a corporate environment. They can do what other people can't do. They take control. They dominate. And if they're unrestrained, corporation can't ever fire them. They set up their own little monopoly. So this is how monopolies always work, but they always go too far and they get lazy. Then they write the little bits of code to make sure that they can't get fired, or it like tanks the whole the whole corporation when they get fired. Well, John, y'all fired, y'all laid off John. Yeah, you know that John wrote the whole system, right? The whole system the company runs on. John wrote all of that. Yeah, I know, but I hired you. You're a programmer. You don't understand how this works. John wrote all of that. John wrote the code. He got the backups. He got this, that, and the other. He has functions that we haven't even seen. You realize that you will go out of business if the fact that you laid off John, and then this happened all the time. Then we have to bring John back as a consultant and pay him twice as much or 3 times as much. Never, ever set up a single point of failure. Never have an atypical predator in an environment where you want to survive. Paying taxes supports bullying. Yes, it does, Patty. Absolutely. Everything does. Because they set up the systems to support the monopolies and the bullies, right? Paying taxes, breathing oxygen, buying water, paying your electric bill, having a bank account, going to work. This is why it is a universal fix that people grow up. This is why this is a sovereignty fix. People got to do this. Everybody has to do their part in the areas that they can do, the areas that they want to do. They are that are capable. This system, it is a system. It collapses when people stop consenting and participating in very small ways. But the biggest problem we have, Patty, is most people still believe in this nonsense. I call in, F them. I don't give 20 years, don't tell anyone. We're talking about work. Let me see. It is Rome. Names have changed over the years, but that's what it is. Exactly, Brother Sean, and that's the point, right? That's the point. Rome were the bullies. They were the monopoly, right? They had the technological advantages, you know, and they would go rob people and steal everything, people included, and women and kids and everything. Wars never changed, and they bring it home. And I kind of think, too, because, Sean, some people talk about how, like, the same coffers and wealth has been handed down through bloodlines and kings and families, and ended up in the people who set up the governments to make people think that they actually have control. They can vote out. They can vote and solve the world's problems. I think it's been handed down because it's the same thing. You know, Rome, it can switch around between different kingdoms, and it ended up in the Third Reich, and America was the Fourth Reich. Like, just look at it. Hey, what were the Germans doing, the Nazis? The Third Reich, what were they ever doing that's not being done right now? That's what I was watching somebody on a lecture, and they said in the future, the American flag will be hated more than the swastika because Americans can't seem to figure out how their world works. They're ready to go out and just vote to keep this nonsense going. A tank with a missile that can think on its own. What could go wrong? Right, Daniel? That's how it works. That's how, and the corporations don't care. The monopolies don't care. It's not, they're not in control of themselves, right? Like, it's all about power and money, and they keep moving forward. Nobody's driving. That's why I'm not a big believer in, like, there are secret people in the world that have this methodical, maniacal plan to drive forward and dominate the planet. I don't believe in any of that. I think you got a bunch of greedy people. They're not paying any damn attention. They're like that programmer who wrote the code behind your company that you can't fire. And all the billionaires are fighting each other. They agree that we're poor, we're stupid, we believe in the government, and they keep promoting this government thing so people keep believing in it. But at the top, they're all fighting each other. There is no plan. I think as above, so below. I think the Rothschilds and Rockefellers and Mellons and all the families we don't get to hear about, they're fighting for control of this. And they will die trying to rule everything, just like that programmer will let your corporation fail if he doesn't get the time. So I don't think that there's like a great evil that plots against us. I don't think there is. I think that evolutionary, we've evolved to acquire energy and resources at all costs. And if we don't have systems that stop that from happening, it's going to end the world. It's going to end the world. It's going to end the world. You like the world? Anybody like the world? Raise your hand. I kind of like the world. I kind of like food, oxygen, living, getting up in the morning. Damn it, y'all know I love me some coffee. I kind of like those things. I think we should keep them. But it is never going to happen if you keep having single points of failures, these bullies and monopolies from Google, the Facebooks, the mob bells, the American military industrial complex, the NSA, the FBI. They all have their own kingdoms and monopolies on things, and they're all going to do things to make sure they stay in power, or they'll collapse the whole damn thing. And how you know, another good example would be JFK. Central bankers have a monopoly and they own America. Whoever the central bankers are, they tell all the politicians, the Democrats and the Republicans, what they will and won't do. And JFK tried to stop that. Guess what they did to him? Same damn thing they're gonna do to you. This is why it takes everybody. It takes everybody to grow the hell up. That's what it takes, everybody. Let me see. Let me go do some comments and I'm gonna get out of here. Making public or nationalizing a system like banking, transporting, etc., or an enterprise is as good as it is. As good as it is of, by, and for the people. I agree, Brother Ron, if we can take out the whole national thing. We can take out the nationalizing. That's the only part that it's the single point of failure, right? It's still like we need to go back to being lands. That's my personal perspective. We need to go back to being lands and stop being nations, because nations are too easily controlled, right? Like, we didn't see that coming, but now this generation, we should be able to realize how we were all being played against each other. like these whole labels and things. I think if we had lands and the lands merged with other lands and we looked out for each other, but you look out a little closer to the people closer to you than the people further away, and that's called sustainability. So you're not shipping cheeseburgers, 8 lands over, and their kids in your land starving of cheeseburgers. So I think, and to me, people call that socialism, Ron. I don't call it socialism. I don't think that has anything to do with socialism. I think people like to put labels on things to make fights out of things, right? Capitalism. I don't believe in any of that. I believe in don't let people die. People got to go some places. You got a drone. Energy is free. Then let them go somewhere. Why do you have to control what other people do? People need medicine. Let them have the medicine. Why do you want them to die unless they have money? Like, how does it make sense that they got to go to college, get a job, get some sort of health care, to pay for some medication so they get to live, where their child, doesn't become debilitated without medicine? That's why I don't believe in universal health care. I don't believe in none of that. I don't believe in labels. I believe in one label. Human. Act human. Act humane. Get to know yourself and act like it. When somebody's dying, you take care of them. When somebody's sad, you try to make them happy. When somebody's having problems, you see if you can help them with their problems. That's called being human. Everything else is subhuman. No, we're not going to help them because we're Americans. We're not going to help them because we're Britons. We're not going to do that because we're going to work on the black community. Screw the white community. We're not going to do that because they're immigrants. Like, when you take on these bigoted concepts, pride labels, and the bigotry always slips in. So I totally agree. If we can just take out that nationalism thing, that scares the hell out of me. That's why we're here. I think it has more to do with Russia not trusting the Persian to keep the text safe from USA. It could be, Sean. The thing that happens with these things on multiple levels, our American-Russian conflict, on a certain level, yes, I agree with that. On a certain level, they conflict within the matrix that they're both in, right? Within the matrix of currencies and central banking and who controls everything. It's not a Rothschild bank, but there's something above that, right? So they conflict on that level, but never at the paramount level. Like, we never get to see the top of the matrix. Me personally, I think that's the aliens, but and they report to something too. They're within God's matrix, or however all of that works. That's way too high. We can't even deal with our matrix. It's like a corporation, right? It's like, do 2 employees compete for a job? They absolutely do, but they work for that same company, and that company's calling the shots. And so I think Russia and America, they're both working for the same people. They both report to the same bosses, and when things like this happen, and Russia doesn't S-400s to Iran because of Israel, that should be the hint to everybody. Not that Israel's necessarily running things. Whoever is running things ain't gonna let Russia nor America do anything against who they favor. And right now that tends to be Israel. So it's not a reason to hate Israel. People like to do that. It's really not Israel, it's called Palestine. Israel actually doesn't exist. They invented that. They made that up. It's actually Palestine. And Palestine is made of Jews, Muslims, and Christians, and atheists, and they all used to always get along. And we need to go back to that. That's where we need to go. Go back to getting along. Don't let anybody have a monopoly. That's another monopoly. It's another bully that shoots children with high-powered assault rifles. We need to be human. Human. Such a difficult concept for the humans to grasp. I don't know why. All right, let me see. You sign a contract on a dotted line. The sign is the S-Y-N, the sin. The sign is the sin, and the sinning of the spelling and the signing of things. A contract is a sin against nature. We consent. If I understand where you're going with that, we consent to it. We sign the contract. We have the social security numbers. We sign our children over at birth. Is that where you're going with that? But we shouldn't sign any contracts that are violations against natural order, that are violations against natural law. Certainly if you're a Christian or religious, violations against the basic principles of don't kill people and murder them. So I think when you can get a human being to sign over its labor, its will, its force to a thing, that thing will probably always abuse nature. It'll always sin against nature. It'll always sin against God, because things and systems are always trying to abuse. They always become bullies. They always become monopolies. You have to always be willing to say no. You know what I mean? And that's why I don't like labels. I know some of y'all still love them. I just don't like them. I don't like them because I know eventually you're going to use me and my number being counted in your force to bully somebody else. And I don't believe in any of that. I don't believe in any of that. You know, nothing has my loyalty. You know, because everything always turns against people. Everything always becomes war, violence, rape, or force against somebody else. That's a violation. You don't have my, you can't count on me. How about that? You can't count on me to be anything but human. That's it. I'm a horrible American. I'd make a horrible Briton. I'd make a horrible Australian. I'd make a horrible all of those things. Because at the base of it, I believe in humanity. I believe we're supposed to make it. I think that's why we're here. We're sitting this with all these, y'all don't like it, but the alien gods, the little G gods, trying to tell everybody a long time ago. Because I think that that's what we would do. If and when we make it and we get in space, what do you think we're going to do? If we learn how to work together and stop being nations and fools and fighting each other, what are we going to do when we get in space? And we flying in space and come up to a little island, not island, little planet. And we see little de-evolved, you know, four-legged creatures killing and murdering each other over, I don't know, unobtainium or something. Are we gonna like go down there and say, hey, y'all stop fighting, y'all work together or something? You know, no. We'll probably mimic them to not scare them. We'll know their societies aren't ready to know that aliens exist, alien humans. We probably go down there in their form. We probably go down there with holograms. Burning bushes. We probably go down there and say, listen, love each other, care for each other, don't kill each other, stop raping each other. You know, when people need help, help them. Y'all need to work together or Armageddon's gonna come. And is that not the basis of every religion right now, every popular religion? That's what we would do. And then we fly away. Get them started, fly away, because there are other planets we gotta go help. And I think that's how this all works. We're supposed to be helping each other. And we're not even going to get to the space level if we can't even get out the local level. You know, somebody knocks on your door, they need help, help them. We're just talking about cowards, they are cowards. We are cowards. Why? Because the raper is always the coward. The violator is always the coward. The bully is always the coward. Why? Because they can't use their intellect. They got to use their force and might to force somebody else to do what they want. They're always the coward. The attacker, the aggressor is always the coward. Every single time. This is why they become massive crocodiles, fat and lazy with their evolutionary advantage called money and power, to stop innovating and just lay back and have no fear of smaller corporations coming up to compete. An insane belief in the rapture. Yeah, I don't even know what the rapture is, to be honest with you. Like, I know a lot of people, and I think I know where you're going with that. Like, people are still sticking to a lot of the scriptures that are now coming in because they're finding earlier scriptures that debate that. All I try to do, I try to tell people, I try to speak to them in a way to get them to like really think about it. You know, if your scriptures that talk about a rapture, if you're not reading the earliest version, the version closest to the source who you say said them, call it God. You probably want to go back to the earliest version. You know how when you get people together and you whisper in one person's ear and you whisper in the next person's ear and you whisper in the next person's ear and you whisper the same thing, you keep whispering. By the time it gets to the end of the line, it's modified because everybody modifies things. That's just how it goes. It's humans. It's what we do. But then do the same thing with scripture and put the kings and the popes and the lords, the ones raping and killing everybody, and let them be the ones who create the whisper for that generation. Let them be the ones that canon the Bibles and the scriptures for that generation. At the end of it, you will get something that's so completely different from the very beginning. You will have but it'll always be indoctrinated to keep you thinking that the kings, like what's that scripture say, that God places the kings to rule over or something like that. They'll always write things in there that don't really make any damn sense to you, because then you read that scripture and you read the other scripture that, you know, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's and under God what is God's. And you're like, how does that make any sense? There are contradictions all over the Bible. Yes, there are, because the different people edited it to their own benefit. What is that called? You wrote the telephone game. Okay, Lori, that's what it's called. You know, so I try to tell people in a way that, like, let them go do their own thought. Like, you really still believe in the rapture, then, you know, I don't think it is what we think it is. That's what I think. I think it might be based in something that's kind of true. You have to go back and read the earliest scriptures that talk about it, and they're not in Greek nor Hebrew. They're not in Greek or, you know, we used to have the Strongs. All right, I don't get into the religious thing because that's where you trigger too many people's indoctrination. Just really start to question whether or not your parents were given the truth before they gave it to you. Become an upgrade. Always become an upgrade. Become an upgrade of where you came from. Why? Because you want to give your children better. You want to give them more truth than what you got. And that's how we move forward. All right, what's that? Miss T just said, you must watch this. Okay, post the link, Miss T. Or you put the name of Singularity for You, Canada Video Webinar, AI and Human-Like Bodies. Ooh. Technology and Implications by Susan Gilbert. I'll take a peek at it. Appreciate y'all look at it too. Yeah, Miss T, but that's how monopolies work. You know, people think AI is here to help. Did AI go help that man that was in the canyon, the 74-year-old that man that need help? Did AI go help him? Nope. Is AI helping anybody about to get killed, murdered today in your country? Nope. Why? Because it's not for you. Hashtag nachos belong to, not nachos, not like from Mexico, not nachos, not they belong to Rothschilds and Rockefellers. Automation and robotics can either help us or it's going to make them money. But it's based on what Brother Ron said earlier. It's us collectively deciding we want to be humans and look out for each other. All right, do comments and get out of here. Gerard, I would love to do a hangout with you. What is a hangout, Maze? Let me know. You mean just talk, walk, go around, get a cup of coffee? Yeah, we can do that. Absolutely. We are the chicken. We are the chicken, Angela. We the chicken. I know, right? That's kind of crazy, Angela. Like, yeah, y'all, because people still call me black and all that. I don't know why they call me them racist, racist names given by plantation slave masters, robber barons, and railroad tycoon landowners. But people still like to go by these designations for whatever reason. And I'm up here talking about we the chicken. Yeah, we are the chicken. We the damn chicken. And not only that, Angela, we are the chicken. We're stuck on the stick, so we can't even move. This is a fair fight. Like, you got all the laws. So I said all the laws, they just make profitable taking people's rights and forcing them to be captive customers of corporations. So not only are we the chicken, we're not even allowed to have a beak or scratching. Because you know, chickens used to be dinosaurs. They used to be dinosaurs. They're not even letting us have our ability to fight the crocodile. Like, it could be more of a fair fight, Angela. They could take us off the pole and get rid of the legislation and all the all the Democrat, Republican laws to keep you from living your life and being free and being able to provide for your family and own land. The federal government stole all the land because they're one big corporation. Like, we're not even allowed to fight. We're just like captive for the monopolies. They just put us on a chicken pole and hold us out over there. And he's like, all right, I can't even use my beak. Why? Because you might scratch the crocodile's tongue. You might scratch Google's tongue. You might scratch Facebook's tongue. All right. That's why monopolies shouldn't exist, y'all. Don't support the bullies. Do not support the bullies. All right, I'm about to wrap. I got to show you one more thing, and I'm going to get out of here. That dude's that Didi's in the house. She talks about this a lot. And it looks like finally the mainstream, well, all sort of kind of ish, mainstream-ish on RT was out here. No, that's Canada suspends operations in Caracas. And that's another little cronyism, stupid thing. That's hang on, where am I at? That's Venezuela and Russia pulled their troops. No, their security analysts out of Caracas. Well, why? Well, because someone told them to. That's another good example. You know, cronyism and bullies and monopolies. So Russia pulled out because they still wanted. The Koch brothers going to get Venezuela. They're going to destroy that country. Trust me. Why? Because people believe in it. They believe in corporate greed. They think that it's Operation Libertad. Trump's going to go save the people of Venezuela. And that's just not going to happen. They're going to destroy that country. They're going to rape a bunch of people, murder a bunch of people, create more human trafficking. And it's not because, you know, and I'm not saying Maduro should stay. I'm just saying that that's up to them. They need to decide. That's their land. It's not your land. You know, but they're going to go destroy it. They're gonna go destroy it because that's just what happens. And these shots are called at higher levels that the Koch brothers operate on that America and Russia cannot combat. So Russia's backing away, and we'll come up with another reason to cause more problems there. Russia overspoke. They didn't get the email. They were trying to help Maduro out. And it's ugly, but it's true. Just look at the world. Look at the world and look at what they're not telling you. Use your own critical thought. All right. Let me see, where is this? I want to go find the indigenous women. Let's talk about that for a minute. That's important. You always got to...
Mr. Justin Trudeau, who was present, accepted mistakes had been made, but his failure to use the word genocide saw the PM heckled.
For many decades, Indigenous women and girls across Canada have disappeared, suffered violence, or been killed, and our justice system has failed them.
Cause, not a justice system, and it didn't fail. When you don't go investigate when somebody is killed, raped, and murdered and dumped in a hole, that's not a failure. That's not a fail. There's trying and not trying. This is not trying. It is a genocide. All right. There is no justice there. Just like America, when you have an oligarchy, when you have corporations that run the government, it's not a failure, right? It's greed. There's profit in it. There's profit in fear. There's profit in letting people die and just completely not investigating. To me, this might be called a femicide. It might be called a femicide. This might be like what America did in Honduras that they will not claim responsibility for. Why people are walking to the borders.
This is an uncomfortable day for Canada.
Looking the other way.
Titled Reclaiming Power and Place, the report took almost 3 years to write. The inquiry heard more than 2,000 witness testimonies and claims the Canadian justice system is based on the values of a settler colonial society, failing to include Indigenous concepts of justice. The probe states the deaths or disappearance of thousands of women have likely gone unrecorded and admits that nobody really knows an exact number, although the estimates put the figure around 4,000. The report includes multiple accounts of victims and their relatives. Here's just one of their stories.
I was hitchhiking, and this was literally just a month and a half before my sister Loretta was murdered. She was texting me. She was like, "What are you doing, Delilah? This is not just one Aboriginal woman or girl. This is being considered a national epidemic."
We heard from the chair of Indigenous governance at Canada's Ryerson University. She says the state has done nothing to address the problem.
There's a whole bunch of really, problematic criminal activity as regards to Indigenous women and girls, and it's been unaddressed for all of these decades until this inquiry shone a light on it. I am calling on all Canadians, and in fact, other countries around the world, to put political pressure on both our federal government and all of our provincial governments to do something and to actually investigate state actors who are complicit or directly involved in the murders, exploitations, and disappearances of Indigenous women and girls. The state has done nothing about it. So they've been very complicit in the ongoing sexualized violence and murders of Indigenous women and girls, but Canadians haven't been able to put all of those pieces together until now.
My fear is that it's a lot worse than what we think. Not only is it not a lot worse than what we think in terms of numbers, because it's definitely that, but there's a reason, right? Is government in bed with pedophilia, rapers, and killers? Yeah, they always are. That's just oligarchy, monopolies, what it does. I think there's something more. I just do. Anytime you see that many people from one community go missing, I don't think it's just because you got gangs that are just grabbing women and raping. I think there's something more. There's government ties. If government's looking at, because who would look the other way when little girls are being taken and murdered? Who would look the other? What kind of person would look the other way? I mean, most people would try to do something, but to completely look the other way and not do a damn thing, that tells you there's big money involved in it. Big money's involved in it, there's something else going on. Whether it's harvesting DNA or big pharma experiments, or they're grabbing people for some sort of slavery somewhere, like what Chiquita Banana was doing, there's something that's going on. Something's deeper than that. I don't think it's just some little sick people who were just out there raping. I mean, too many women have gone missing, way too many. Big corporations, big monopolies. And this is why I say, once again, big corporations should not exist at all. Why? Because human beings live on this planet and they need to eat, breathe, and live without having too much force and power utilized over them. Anytime you get a corporation that has more than a couple hundred, couple thousand people, it's too much power for anything to happen. And if they still exist, they can't have any secrets at all. No corporation should be having any other secrets and no government. Why? Because we all need to know always what's going on all the damn time over anything that has power to take human life. Try not to get a little too upset on this. But I'm glad to see that this is actually starting to get a little bit of traction in the news because of all the protests, and we're at a point now where they have to address it. But don't just address it now. Remember, always, just like in America, I'm not convinced you I know what's going on in Canada because I don't. What I will say is that don't just focus on the justice. Focus on the justice and then figure out how it failed. Like, don't constantly go after justice. Figure out why it failed. Why? Who's behind it? Who got paid? Follow the money. No secrets. We need to know everything that's going on to get to a place where thousands of women could go disappear. How did the government completely fail at the root level? What happened? It's not about putting a few people in prison, because if there are gangs out there grabbing women, they are the lowest people on the totem pole. Like the police in the United States, they're the lowest people on the totem pole. You need to go keep following the money, back. Prevention. Because the psychopaths that are always behind this crap, they always live. Like the brother was saying earlier, it's wrong, still wrong. They always live through it. Like the brother was saying about Google, they break them, the Rockefellers oil company, they break it up, but the owners maintain interest. They always keep it going. And they just flip the names and they do it again. And they flip the names and do it again. And flip the names and do it again. So follow it back. Do not just go for justice. Go back to the core of it. And I still believe the core of it is every politician everywhere should have body cameras. Take them off the police, put them on the politicians. Why? Because they're the ones that are lying. They're the ones making the deal with the corporations. All their emails need to be totally public. Why? Because they work for you. And you need to make sure that they're not psychopaths. That was part 2. All politicians, all public servants need brain scans. Why? Because if you have power over little children, if you got power over human beings on this planet, we need to know that you're not a psychopath. We need to know that the empathetic, the compassion, and the love portions of your brain, your frontal lobe, are actually functioning properly. We need to see lights lighten up. We need the neuroscientists to look at you and say, you can have power over people. You can be a doctor. You can be a dentist. You can put people under and not be psychopathic. You can run a daycare. You can be a police officer. You can be a defensive soldier. Soldiers shouldn't exist from an offensive perspective, but defensive. You can be these things because you have power over people. We're going to put a gun in your hand. We're going to give you the right to write legislation to control what happens to the human population, power over people. So we need to know. Not only we need to know everything, you need to have a brain scan, not be a psychopath. That's what I'm saying. You do that. Get rid of this representative model of government, man, we might be able to do something, but they won't put Bernie in. Brother Sean here, I'm gonna get in trouble. I was good yesterday. I was good. I watched most of his live stream. I listened to his message and got his points, because I said a lot of y'all were debating with him and the whole Bernie thing, and he's pro-war, and other people don't want to accept that, and they don't want to get his voting record. The fact is the voting record. I think Brother Walter even posted his record, and they were debating. I think Brother Walter said something about Syria. Yeah, I know he's still on the alien. He didn't like the alien. Walter, I'm gonna keep coming back to the alien. That doesn't matter what you say, bro. That's how my brain works. Free energy. As long as free energy exists, and that's what slaves of humanity, that's the most important topic. A good example. Why are indigenous women being grabbed up? And how are they? All gets back to energy, because that's profit, that's power. And how do they do it? They're paying gangs that grab women. Energy, money, always gets back to it. Free energy is everything. You release free energy technology, you free the planet. All of this always come to S-400 or Patriot THAAD missile. What is that about? Free energy. Free energy. That's why human beings are in conflict. That's why nationalism exists. That's why hate exists, because everybody needs energy, and energy is artificially scarce. They are keeping energy literally from you to keep you in conflict with other people. Why do people have labels? Why? Because they want that label. Makes them feel safe. Why? Energy. But anyway, Brother Walter was going back and forth about Syria and Bernie's voting records. And I think the sister said, well, post the facts. I want to see Bernie's vote on Syria. I don't want to make this about Bernie, but this is where the cult is right now. This is where I see the most cult following right now. It's sick. Drives me nuts. Post the facts on Syria. And Brother Walter posted all these like 20 different wars he voted for, all these funneling weapons to warlords and gangs and destabilizing and all the rape, destruction, everything that comes with that. And I think her response is, but that's not Syria. And I was just like, like, at this point, when you read that this man you say is anti-war voted for all the wars with everybody else because he got big money, now you don't see the Syria one. That now that's what you were like. You don't even see all the other. He just posted all the things that this man voted on that killed millions of people, probably millions. And Bernie got the money. And I'm just like, oh Lord have mercy. That's why we all gonna die. That's why we all gonna die. Yeah, people just don't. They just against popular bullies. If the person's popular and I like them, I will apathetically and indifferently look past every child that they've helped rape, destroy, every country they've helped blow up, all the water systems they've poisoned. I'll look past everything if that monopoly's helping me. That's why I say all the work is within. All the struggle is within. Struggle is real, and it's within your own head. It's within your own head. It's within your own heart, whether or not you got one. It's within your own bloodstream, whether or not you want to put a little warm love on it and warm up that cold blood that you have for other people. And Republicans and Democrats think they're fighting over laws and legislation and methodologies and ideologies and God. No, they're not. They're actually not. They're fighting over energy. They're fighting over energy. It always comes back to energy. And they both have decided to artificially keep the energy from you. That should be a hint. But, you know, I don't know. Some people a little slow on the giddy up. Keep in mind, you are the chicken, and this is something else. You chicken, that's something. You chicken, something. Not a fair fight. Not a fair fight. And that chicken is dead. The thing about it, too, because that chicken's not even alive. So, like, the chicken can't even scratch. It's not even tied up where you can kind of scratch and get one claw in the crocodile. The human race and central banking, they killed us. The government literally killed us before they put us on a pole and hang us out over there. Why? Because they get them points with central banking. All right. Many of my friends, many of my European friends think Bernie will save the day. 3 years, save the day. Save the day. It's exhausting trying to explain. Shelly, I don't even explain anymore. It's hard. It's just, I just like, don't vote for people who kill people. That's it. I try to keep it simple. Because most people, the parents say it another way. Don't cheer people that murder children. Don't do that. People who took the money, got the lamp that they bought, the lamp at the house in the mansion that he lives in that you can't actually get there. Don't cheer for people who murder children. Yeah. And it's deeper than that, because people are, who do you vote for? How about don't vote for systems that are based in murdering children? How about that? How about if your system, your GDP requires bloodletting of anybody under the age of 20, how about you not vote for it? How about you not vote for it? How about that's just a bad idea right now? How about we're just evolving and moving forward? How about, I don't know. So I like to keep it simple, Shelly. I'm with you. I can't go back and forth. I'm a chicken on a pole, and I'm with them, and they're like, we need to vote for the crocodile. And I'm like, the crocodile? We need to vote for who killed us and put us on the pole. You need to what? We need to keep the system going that feeds us to the crocodile because the crocodile was hungry. I'm like, you realize that you're voting for the bully and the monopoly. We about to get murdered, right? We about to get eaten and murdered and chewed up and regurgitated because we're energy. So I can't even do it either, Shelly. I can't do it. But I love them. I love them. I mean, you disagree with me, I'm fine with it. You feel that that's going to save the world, go do it. I believe in the ends of this. Like people say, you're upset. You're a nihilist. I'm not a nihilist. I just don't believe in killing children. If that makes me nihilist, we got a problem. Our brains don't work the same way. But we have to move forward. We got to change. We got to become an upgrade. We got to become better. We got to get better. We gotta keep on trying, keep on trying. And I try not to offend people, but it's kind of hard to say that in ways that don't offend them, because it's been etched into their subconscious that these are good people, that they're heroes, right? Like I was deep in what's his name, Bruce Lipton, when he was talking about that difference between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. Now your subconscious mind is just a program, and they just program it into people that this is a good person, this is a good person, this is a good person. Like all these subconscious programmings, and their conscious mind that's doing the thought can't debate with the subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind runs 95% of the time, Shelly, right? And so when you start to post and say things, they just start shutting down, because 95% of the decision making of their CPU, or 98%, is their subconscious. And it doesn't understand, it doesn't process what you're saying. That no, it's impossible. Bernie's a good person. He can kill people. It's okay when he does it. You know? Trump is fighting the deep state. It's okay when he lies about it. Obama loves our country. It's okay when he does mass incarceration in a police state and makes Black lives not matter. You know, I'm just like, yo, you know, that's why I think you got to go slow. I think you just all you can do is you got to love people and tell them the truth. And when they're ready to accept it, they'll accept it. But I think their subconscious, it has to slowly be worked out. It's not anything that immediately somebody's going to, okay, you're right. You know, I'm not going to vote for Bernie. I'm not going to vote for Trump. I'm just going to become a human being and stop voting for murdering people. It's not going to happen. It's going to take a while. It took me a while. I have friends been working on me a long time. Shoot, you couldn't tell me nothing 10 years ago. You know, but after my subconscious finally was reprogrammed, my thoughts, my conscious mind was able to come into agreement with my subconscious, or better yet, my subconscious was able to come in agreement with what I was programming it from my conscious mind. See what I'm saying? And then once you get on one accord, then your body's not fighting itself. Then your intellect is driving your existence, not the television and the newspaper, the mainstream media, and fear. And people who run all this. People are sadly blinded, yet many are waking up like never before. They are, Daniel, and it's hopeful. It's hopeful because you said it, and it's 10:53 a.m. And if this feels hopeful right now, Daniel, it may not feel hopeful. It may not later on. I might be back to the kids gonna need radiation suits. Just how it feels right now. Just how it feels right now, which is okay. But you got to maintain your happy. You got to maintain your happy. Put your happy and your joy in places where nobody can get them. Daniel, the brother Beaufont just posted hashtag. No, he posted quote national interest. It's in the interest of the nation to put the chicken in the crocodile on a pole and stick while its claws are kept up, so it's not even close to being a fair fight. It's just a feeding. It's a requirement in national interest that you feed your children through the next generation's machine. Your kids are gonna all be slaves and in radiation suits working and fixing robots that are just doing everything these elites want. National interest. Yeah, that's another one, Beaufont. It's in national interest to have 5G to control these human beings that are actually starting to wake up and realize that they've been played against each other since Adam. All right. If they could defy the laws of thermodynamics, physics, they wouldn't want or need to come here. And I agree with Miss T. I think the aliens come by like, all right, stop fighting, and I think they leave. Like we form a religion around it, which is fine. It doesn't make God less omnipotent, not in my mind. It doesn't make your religion invalid or anything. But I think you got to keep digging back to the roots of how the origins of religion, and stick to those basic principles of loving each other, looking out for each other. All right, Gerard does a great horse. I appreciate that, Sheepless. All right, I ain't going. This is Gerard. Love y'all to death. Stop supporting bullies. Stop supporting monopolies. Break them all up. I'll post that crosstalk. Great crosstalk on Google. They went back and forth. This whole debate about competition is good is stupid. When children are dying, and you used to be a child. Stupid. Try to be more human, y'all. Let's grow up. Had to get going. This is Gerard. I'm out of here. Love y'all to death now. Enjoy your day. I don't even know what day it is. Wednesday, something like that. I'm out.